on here.
Anticlimactic.
Oh, there we go.
You need the
dildo corn sounds
That could be its name.
I think we're live.
Dildo corn.
Oh,
great.
My hand goes down. You guys are live.
We're live. Good. We're not going to explain dildo corn either. We're just going to let you guess.
Yep. So, welcome to Lost Aspect, episode 1. Woo! Our all-girls cast, once again. This is what we're going to stick with now. I'm Casey.
I'm Jackie. I'm Team Mystic.
No! Shame! Team Valor.
Team Valor.
Yeah.
Casey, high
They're
five.
so wrong.
High five.
I'm Celeste. I'm going to represent Instinct over here.
I can at least respect.
Yeah.
These two clowns.
Anything but Valor. Hashtag. Never Valor.
You know, Donald Trump supporters are all Team Valor, too. I'm just saying.
That's a fallacy.
Womp womp.
Yes, it is. Anyway.
So I think the big thing we wanted to talk about today was WITC.
Yeah,
Right?
yep,
That's
absolutely.
the big one on the
Even
plate.
though I wasn't there.
Yeah, even though you weren't there. And did we decide officially to never forgive her? We discussed.
But I got a shirt.
Lame. No, I think we'll eventually forgive you. I don't know when, though. Wait, isn't there something we do at the beginning? Announcements.
Oh, announcement.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
Gen Con
Let's go back.
weekend.
Is Gen Con next weekend?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right?
Well, it's not like this next one, but the weekend.
No,
Yeah.
The
it's
first
Still,
weekend in
that's-
August, right?
It's
Yeah.
the weekend. Yeah, it is the weekend after next. So in 2 weeks, roughly.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Less than.
Coming up fast.
You're not playing.
I'm not playing
Yeah.
anything there. No, I'm just going for the experience because,
Where is Gen Con?
yeah.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Brian and I haven't talked, but I'm going to assume we're not going, considering our situation with his lost
I
job
would
and-
strongly not recommend going.
Yeah.
2 weeks is not enough time to get a hotel.
Okay.
6 months is not enough time to get a hotel.
Well, realistically, I'm from the area, so I would probably
that's
shack
fair.
up with friends or something to
Yeah.
make that work out.
We
I
did
mean,
a
even if
motel.
I had to drive all the way back to my parents' house, it's not that far of a drive. I would make it
Yeah.
work. So
But it's an expensive weekend.
Yeah.
It's a 5-day weekend.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
We stayed at a motel like 45 minutes out last time we went, and it was still really expensive.
We got a house, a whole house on Airbnb for $90 a night.
Nice.
So it's 7 miles away, so probably a 20-minute drive.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we remembered to get the parking pass.
Yes. I didn't. Well, Brian is supposed to remind me of these things. There's right parking pass on here. Fuck Brian.
Anyway, I think that's the only upcoming thing.
Journeyman leagues have started.
Journeyman leagues and Bear Boat
Have you guys
started.
started one yet?
yep, we've started one. Our Milwaukee 2 different stores decided to stagger theirs so that they're not
Okay.
running simultaneously. So I'll finish up this one and then move on to the next. And I have things to say about my Tanith Battlebox, but I'll save those for later.
Oh, we can talk about that.
right now.
Yeah. Are you participating in the Journeyman League at
No,
all?
I don't think so.
You're missing out. The Mad X box is precious.
Yeah, Keith's already got one, so I'll just yoink his.
What are the rules for you? Do you just play? There is no Cyrus Battlebox, right?
Okay, so if you're playing Cyrus, Mercs, or Minions, Mercs and Minions have 2 casters, so 2 battle boxes to choose from, and Cyrus has 1, which is very disheartening, because I feel like if you don't get a battle box and there isn't one marketed to you, you should have the option between 2 casters. That's neither here nor there. So for Cyrus, it would have been Syntherian. I think it was exactly what the battle box was: a Cypher, a Diffuser, and a Galvanizer, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm probably not. But I am playing Signar for our Journeyman League.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you get the battle box for Cyrus, but it's no different than the regular battle box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, the one that isn't even marketed for MK3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm Legion. I just opened mine on Friday. That's as far as I got. I'm just not thrilled. I'm not thrilled with this.
I've heard that the Legion battle box is a crap battle box.
It is.
Yeah.
2
The
shredders that are now
caster.
useless.
Yeah.
The caster isn't too bad. Bolt throwers are eh. And the Nerf I'd never used in the first place, so I have no fucking clue.
And
Yeah.
the quality.
I haven't even gotten down to seeing where the mold lines and stuff are yet.
I am in an argument with the world right now about the quality of the Circle Battlebox.
Are we talking
Tanith.
about like the actual quality or the play quality?
The play quality. Yeah, well, we can talk about actual quality too, because I painted up Tanith, and I know they're saying that the plastic is exactly the same, but
No,
it
it's
definitely was. It
No.
felt way different,
No.
I didn't even
and it
touch
wasn't
mine yet.
the detail wasn't deep enough so that I didn't prime it. I just painted right onto the green because I was worried that if I primed it, I would lose all of the detail because it was so thinly
I have mine
printed.
primed, but we use
Airbrush.
Brian airbrushes it all on for me because
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
I also realized that I'm going to have to pay more attention to, I don't know what to call them, I guess. Not areas where, where you have to normally trim off the extra, the flash, but, at the seams. There's, seam plastic that sort of follows the model all the way around, which was never a problem really before. And so I'm going to have to remember to trim that off more. But no, from actual play quality, I made the mistake, my first experience at the Battlebox level, I played four games. I killed 0 models out of my entire 4 games.
That's rough.
Now, to be fair, 2 of my games were against Travis and Dan Garces, who I rarely beat anyhow because their quality, their skill level is so much higher than mine. I also played someone playing the Trolls Battlebox, and I played someone playing Scorn. And I killed not one single model. And we were all at the store that night talking about it's just not a very synergistic battle box as it stands. I made the mistake of taking that opinion that I had formed, and I was very salty about it. I was super grumpy after my losses, and I made the mistake of going on to a Donald Trump meme generator website, and I created a meme that said something, it was Donald Trump saying hokey garbage Tanith or something, and I posted it totally jokingly just saying, this is how I feel, onto the Circle Facebook group, and literally they took away my Circle card. I'm not allowed to play the game anymore. Everybody was so offended that they were so angry with me that I had this negative opinion about my experiences with the Battlebox, and trying to argue with me that it actually is really synergistic. And to be fair, each of the models individually in that Battlebox are incredibly strong. They all have a very valuable place in the larger list, but it's hard to. It was very difficult for me to kill anything.
I'm also you said Trolls and Scorn. What were the other 2 playing?
Crix and Circle. I had one
Okay.
mirror match with Circle, and then Travis with Crix.
Gotcha.
So, and it was honestly, I did learn a lot from the thread on the Facebook group about what other people were doing differently than because several people came in, I'm 32-0 at the Battlebox level, these guys who want to be look at my giant dick, whenever you have anything to say that's negative, and they want to tell you how wonderful it is.
Or how great they are, more so.
Yeah, they did give me a couple of pointers about things that I hadn't thought of putting together, but I still they're oh, Tanith is top 2 Battlebox in the entire game. I don't believe that that's true.
No.
I don't believe that that's true
I'm
at all.
pretty sure it goes Kador and then Signar.
Yeah.
Pretty easily, actually.
And
Trolls,
Trolls,
let's be
Trolls
honest.
is way up there.
I've only played one Battlebox game, which is really exciting because obviously I'm super versed in what's happening here. But I played into Kador, and I was just I'm done with this.
You said, I'm done.
Yes,
Done
I
with this
said,
game.
fuck this game. I'm done.
Yeah.
Same thing. I lost my heavy. My 2 lights were down 1, if not both arms and cortexes, and I had my caster, and I was just okay.
Yeah.
Either I lose my 2 lights and it's game over, or I just run my caster in, try for the assassination, and if I don't get it, it's game over.
Yeah.
The Kador Battlebox is...
I had a couple
It's
of
good.
2 of my games. I did the same thing where I was well, I literally have nothing left, so I might as well just try to kill something. I killed nothing. I am very salty about it. But it's definitely not a top tier. I would consider it to be middle of the road. Like, the models themselves, all very, very strong, have a really solid place, but it's the Battlebox, at the Battlebox level,
Well, they also
I just couldn't
suffer
do
from
anything.
being hordes.
A little.
Just in general.
Yeah, a little, absolutely. Well, there are benefits and there are fallbacks, whatever, between the two. But I was very, very salty about my battle box. I'm excited to. I put together my list at each week of Journeymen to how I'm going to build it up. I feel much better about the larger, because I do think Tanith has the potential to be like a top tier caster if she's played right. We'll see how it goes as time develops, but. Ooh, that battle box level. I'm still bitter about it.
Okay. That was Battle Boxes and Journeyman Leagues. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that's coming up for...
I think so. I know Madison's got a tournament coming up soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about it later.
Yeah,
Probably.
August 23rd.
Yeah,
It's going to be a
soon.
while yet.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
a
not.
few weeks away. It's a 100 point.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's 100 point. So that'll be fun and interesting.
No, it won't.
Yeah. I have to work that
I
day
might be wrong
anyway.
about the date. If you're listening to this, do not write that date down. I pulled that out of my ass. I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
It might be a Tuesday.
It's probably the middle of the week. I don't know when it is. I'm sure the boys will tell you.
Yeah, so we can backtrack to WITC.
Yeah.
Woo, let's talk WITC.
Where I didn't go.
Oh, why
Yeah.
didn't we bring the uterus?
Oh,
because
because Danielle's
Oh,
not
I
here.
suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Cuterus. Cuterus was definitely the hit of the WITC. I have a picture of Brian, my Brian, and Nathan, and Nathan was tickling the cervix in the picture. Cuterus made his rounds.
I have a picture of Andy with his beard hanging out of the cervixes.
Amazing.
We'll have to post some of those with this post. That would be funny.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. Go Red Flag
That's
Fleet.
right.
Even though we were the bottom.
0-4. Apparently, we're the only team to go 0-4 for the entire event.
Oh, man.
So solid us.
Doing
Go
the losers
us.
bracket right, guys.
Yes, we were.
Apparently somebody had to.
No, it's okay.
Apparently they had to explain to John from Muse on Maze. Josh had to explain to him what the red flag fleet meant.
Oh, it's very confusing.
He did not understand the period joke.
I wonder if he got high period, because that one's pretty.
I don't know. He might have mentally blocked that.
Every time I told anybody or pointed out that the back of my shirt says Feral Bush, I just got this awkward laugh. It was all dudes do not know. They're like,
Pubes uncomfortable. Why? Porn says they're supposed to not be there, guys.
Guys are like, you're not, no.
No,
you're
it's not real.
No. Yeah, so we went 0-4. We individually had lots of wins, though. Megan was 2-2. I was 2-2.
I want you to define lots.
I believe we had
Collectively,
five,
we
out
had
of our
5.
15 games. No, out of our 20 games, we had 5 individual wins.
Which is, what is that, 20%?
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey.
20%.
Hey, you know what? We'll take it because you had a win.
I did go 1-4, and I feel really bad for that win still.
Yeah.
I just
'cause
anytime
you
I clock
clocked
someone,
your other,
and
your
oh
opponent.
man, anytime I clock someone, I'm just like,
That
that's a
is
dick
a
move.
very legitimate way to win, though.
It is. I
Especially when
understand.
I mean, I understand feeling bad about it, but at the same time, that was a legitimate win.
Sure,
you
and
won
that's
that
the point.
legitimately.
That's the point of
Unlike
Death
me,
Block, is to not
I
have
only win when I
unlimited
cheat.
time.
This is great. We have to read this one out loud. The best description of someone being on their period, it's Joseph1313 has ever heard, is a gal on the internet referring to it as werewolf time.
Werewolf time.
Was
I
that
don't
period
even
or was that the
understand
feral
joke.
bush? Because that could go both ways, I suppose.
That's a very interesting.
I'm assuming
reference.
it's all relative to periods because
Yeah.
red flag
Yes,
fleet
yep,
and
it's all
flow
there.
visiting.
Ant flow
I still
visiting.
can't say that.
Ant
That is
flow.
red flag fleet.
Oh,
it's like a
'cause-
tongue twister.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little hard.
It's a little difficult, but we had to. We were originally just vagina power, but then we decided that we had a PG on our team who didn't want to be so vulgar about it. So we decided to go with something a little more professional sounding, which was probably for the best because whatever. But we just now use vagina power as our like motto.
Yeah. Hashtag vagina power.
Hashtag vagina power. So
We'll have to get that on the shirts next year.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But your win was legit, unlike my win. My wins were cheating. I cheat. That's like a solid 50% of my wins are because I cheat. My first game was against your Brian, and I cheated, and I won. We have discussed it at length because I feel bad. Brian, from like the minute it was over it. Like, he made peace with it.
Yeah.
He knew that it would have worked out the same way regardless. And I was not at peace with it. So I went around confirming all of the rules and confirming that I had indeed cheated, and then going back to him and apologizing and trying to work out in my head how the game would have played out differently if I hadn't cheated. But ultimately I did an assault charge with my pure blood warp wolf, and on the spray killed, I believe, 3 models, and I triggered Warpath for each of those 3 models, whereas the assault spray is considered 1 attack, and so you only get to trigger 1 Warpath movement off of it. I also, during that turn, killed like 4 or 5 other models, so I would have been able to get all of those Warpath triggers off anyhow. It would have been a little bit more funny, but it would have worked out. But so I won that game. My second game was against Madrak 2. I won that game. Both of my losses were losses where shit should have gone down way faster than it did. So I was amazed both times by how, like, it was like the bottom of 2 or the top of 3, and I was like, well, I'm dead, and then somehow we made it like 7 whole rounds before it actually happened, and I'm sitting there going, how am I still alive? My very last game is definitely the one that was most difficult for me. I was matched up against Randy, who is my future father-in-law, probably the person who I have played second most in all of everything, because I play my Brian the most, and then his father, we go over to his house all the time and play games, and so it definitely took a much more casual sort of tone from the very beginning, because it's someone who I play all the time, and that was the regrettable first mistake. We should have kept it very tournament, I don't know what to call it really, but it just naturally flowed into this casual kind of play style. There were so many things that went wrong, like he forgot to... Damn, I have to remember not to hit my ring.
I keep trying to let you know to stop tapping the table.
Sorry, guys. I keep putting my hands on the table. Sorry. At one point, he finished a turn and forgot to flip the clock over, and we realized it like 12 minutes later that his time had been running on my turn. There were lots of mistakes, but the biggest one was definitely and our number one feedback from the WITC, or at least mine, we had a situation where I successfully hunter's marked a stealth model, which I did not realize or remember that the model was stealth when I made the hunter's mark attack, and Randy did not remember either and didn't call me out or stop me on it. Then I activated, because of that, I was able to activate a beast and charge into that hunter's marked target. It was my pure blood, and I was rolling my assault spray rolls when someone at the table next to us looked over and was like, wait, what just happened? And we explained it, and they were like, no, you can't do that. You can't hunter's mark a stealth target. And it was sort of, looking back on it, it was just very awkward, where there was this long pause. I wasn't going to say, because I had spent 30 solid minutes planning out exactly what was going to need to happen. I needed 2 Warpath triggers in order to make this. It was going to be an assassination, and I needed it to make it work, and I had spent a whole lot of my time on my clock trying to figure out exactly how to do this. So when it happened, I wasn't going to be like, well, too late, because I felt like that was a for sure win, and I didn't want to be an asshole. And Randy on the other side of the table, he wasn't going to be like, oh, ha ha ha, take it back. And so there was just sort of this awkward pause where we were both sort of like,
Our commenter says, tell them it's none of their damn business. I It's funny that he
Yes.
says that because that's exactly what Travis said.
Yeah, and when it was all said and done, I ended up taking it back. I don't know why. If I really have to like internally analyze myself, I feel like it was the woman thing. It was the woman trigger of like just appease the situation, and so I just sort of did it. Nobody forced me to do it. Nobody said like you have to take it back. Nobody did nothing like that. It was just an awkward moment, and the tension wasn't breaking, and somebody had to do something, and so I just said, okay, fine, I'll take it back. And we re-rolled the clock. I moved back like 2.5 movements. And took the clock back and then continued. And ultimately lost the game because at that point I looked and realized that I had on the bottom of 1, I had used 30 plus minutes off of my clock and for something that wasn't going to happen, and I totally freaked out and panicked, and I was like, oh my god, my time, and I was like, move this here, move this here, move this here, move this here, and I put Chromac in charge range of Proteus.
And that's rough.
Yeah, and again,
That's a bad day for Chromac.
did not die because I left Chromac he ended up with like 5 transfers on him. Proteus didn't kill him, and it lasted another 4 rounds after that before the game actually ended. But when it was over, several people, were like, why don't you should talk to the judges about what the rule is on that, and the rule is that someone else is not supposed to interfere with the game.
Exactly. That's like, that would have been, I would have just told them to shut their damn mouth. But I'm also not maybe I don't have that woman trigger. I'd have been like, no, we're just going to keep going unless you don't want to keep going.
It might have been different if it hadn't been my future father-in-law also. Like, it might have been different if it had been some other player that I wouldn't have felt the need to sort of appease the situation. I don't know. That's all hypothetical. Who knows? But ultimately, that would have, that one move I needed to do the assassination, so I didn't get the assassination off because of that. Rule number 1, like, just call the judges over. Like, that's the takeaway. Like, the game, regardless of whether it's someone I play casual games against 1 million times a week, it was a tournament game. It was a tournament game, and we should have called the judge over and had the judge make the ruling on it. But we didn't, and that's how it went down, and it was fine, and that's how it ended. So that was my takeaway, was to not let the games get too casual. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, we can. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't you want to go in order?
Talk about or somebody.
We can bring up
Danielle's thing.
We
too.
can still bring up Danielle's thing.
Yep.
I went in super underprepared. I think that was probably the standard for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, we knew that going in. I brought Aurora and Syntherian. Both lists do similar things with different models. Syntherian is a little more survivable. Aurora is more like, I'm going to sit here for a little bit until I can take out your caster. But I played some unpleasant lists. I played Ethan round 1 with Helena.
Yep.
Double Sentinel spam. Super fun. That was a blast. We talked about this last night. Friday night. And he was very concerned in our game. I really liked them, and like backtracking and thought here, really liked pre-measuring going into Mark III. I don't like it so much anymore because I have an X inch threat range, and now my opponent is, let me measure out X inches
and stay a quarter of an inch back from it.
I had a
Yeah.
lot of that in my games too. And
Every game I play
it kind
now,
of takes
that's
something
the-
away from it. It's playing chicken isn't much fun. Though
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
gun lines a whole lot stronger, so Signar is not so sad about that.
Yeah, she stayed 20 inches away from me, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna flip my Nemo 3 list to Sloan, truth be told, for exactly that reason.
It definitely delays the action, I think, a solid like half round or full round,
Well,
because
sure.
people are literally at like bottom of 1, top of 2, maybe even bottom of 2, still measuring like your threat range is 17 inches, so I'm going to stay 17 and a quarter inches away from you, and that's really a
That was that whole game, and I don't like discredit Ethan for playing that way. Ethan's a really good player. Their team, had my Brian not dropped his game, they would have been second. So they did well. But I had Angels coming in on the side and Aurora, who was just he was 14 inches away from her until he realized her threat range was actually 16 inches, and then I wasn't able to quite get in there that next turn. Round 2, I played P. Sorsha, which is always super fun to play into, and again, it was Johnny's a really good player. Johnny knows P. Sorsha really well. I had Syntherian on the board, and I am slow pokey jacks, just trying to make my way up there. That round, I really fucked up that round, though. I forgot almost every turn to do my repair. Like, how do you save survivable if you're not repairing your D3 every turn on every jack? So that really hurt. Round 3, I played Helena again. Always really fun. That was another one of those where keep your caster exactly the 16 inches away. However, I had cast Admonition on Aurora and completely forgot I had Admonition on Aurora. So he moved Helena however many exactly out of the way, and then...
You could have admonitioned her.
Well, I could have admonitioned when he moved a light jack with his one focus on it closer to Aurora, out of threat range, and I could have just moved in, taken the 1 or 2 hits it would have done, because I still had focus on her, and then just popped feet next turn and just went for it. So don't forget your repair checks, and don't forget admonition, because they are super crucial to the game, surprisingly. And then the last game, I don't remember what caster he was playing, but I was playing in a Menoth, and I took Syntherian that turn because I knew Syntherian would be the better bet. He had all of his units were super fast. I was slow, but I was able to clear out most of them with a TP and some ground pounder.
I think he was playing High Reclaimer.
I don't remember.
He had High Reclaimer, and he had... I can't remember who he had it paired with. But.
Yeah, I don't remember his caster. I just remember Menoth. And then the timing just worked out. We both were super pokey, super slow that whole game. I mean, I was having to roll for I'm going to spray here and spray here and spray here, and all of these models. I'm getting 4 down this way and 3 down this way. So it just came down to the end where he just had a little bit less time than I did, and I had a jack in the zone, and he couldn't control it. So he was trying to get the points, and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna sit here. That's my turn. I'm gonna do some repair checks, and look, it's been 15 seconds. Clock's on you.
Yeah.
So that was
legit.
Yeah.
It's the crappiest way to win, but it's still a legitimate way to win.
It feels really shitty.
Yeah.
I understand that is a facet of the game, but I just when I clock myself, I'm oh no, it was totally my bad. But when I do it to someone else, I'm just I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
That's what that feels like.
Yep.
So.
Except you're not. I mean, it's not your fault that they didn't use their time efficiently. That's... I am a huge fan of what's now the now gone hardcore set, because it's 7-minute time turns, no extension at all. It's great. I excel in that because nobody else does, basically.
Right. Yeah.
I manage my time very, very well, and not a whole lot of people that play do. So it's an area that I'm advantaged in, which I'm really sad that it's going, actually. But it's the same thing. If they time out in their 7-minute turn halfway through their activation, sorry, sucks to be you. Be more efficient next time.
Yeah. It is, and that's part of it, is that it's an aspect of it. That is a part of the game. That's part of the game mechanic, and you can't. You have to be able to grasp all aspects of the various game mechanics to be an efficient player.
Well, the thing about Death Clock is if they didn't time out, it would just be an untimed game, and there just wouldn't be timing at all.
Even if you play on the Master Clock too, there's always going to be one person who takes longer, and so playing on the Master Clock without a Death Clock is just not.
Yeah.
Oh sure, and some lists just play longer. I mean, my Striker list takes forever on the feet turn. But that's something you have to learn to manage.
Yeah, my 2 lists, so I had my Chromac list, and then which is 11 total models, super easy to manage my time, and then I have my Morvana list that's literally, it was 68 models or something. That list takes a lot longer to play.
Exactly.
How did you do?
0-4, motherfucker. I scrubbed so hard. I played Irusk twice, and it was basically the same list both times. And that I was playing the game of chicken with, where they wouldn't. Oh, you have an 11-inch threat range. Okay, I'm going to move 11 1/4 inch away from you, and then my Widowmakers and my Winterguard Death Star rather are just going to shoot you to death. So I basically had nothing left by the time that we finally engaged, and it was just kind of a crappy game, truth be told. That was with Striker both times. And when Irusk is staying about, depending upon which scenario we were on, we had one that was, Killbox 1 was not. He was staying as far away as he possibly could from Striker. So one of the games I did get Striker into him, and I got through, and I had no focus left, and I think I overcharged, and I overloaded and had, I think I was like dice plus 14 or something ridiculous like that, and I rolled double ones to hit.
Yeah, that's rough.
So
that's like my third grade game. I was up against Makeda 2, I think. He rolled 5 boxcar damage rolls against me, and 2 of them were boosted.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, like dice are a thing, and they
Dice.
can really fuck over your game.
dice.
Hardcore.
Fuck this game. To be dice.
To be fair, getting to him was a more of a difficult process, and I rolled a hard 8 to hit. I forget if it was once or twice, but
Yeah.
I mean, so it was a sketchy assassination anyway, and it wasn't that he could have easily avoided just by placing his model like 2 inches away.
Right, yeah.
So that was. It wouldn't have been a win in like if we were both up to practice, basically. But I definitely agree with what you're saying with the pre-measuring and that being that, I'm going to stay just a few inches away from your charge range. I kind of wonder for Signar, Sloane's going to counteract that really well. Haley 2. Keith was playing a Haley 2 list that I really want to try. Excuse me, that I really want to try. Actually, it's because of her feat. You can essentially prevent their movement for a turn, so you can get up that board. You can get up the board faster, and then you can just win on scenario. Then
Haley 2 makes me cringe every time.
Even with the nerves, I feel like she's okay.
Fair enough.
Like she's still an
She's
S
not
tier
the
caster.
best Haley anymore.
No, she's not.
So
I have to try Haley 3 still. I haven't played her yet. But his list was just 2 Stormclad, a Squire, max unit of lances, Catherine Lattimore, and a min unit of lances, and that's all he took. And it works really, really well because the lances are really, 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 really good. We've got some of the best heavy cav in the game. And her feet, they just have a hard time delivering sometimes because despite the 8-inch run, or the 8-inch speed rather, it's just hard to deliver sometimes, and people are very cautious about, like you were saying, they're very cautious with those. So you use the feet to get them up faster and to be able to engage better with them and really make more use of them. So I really liked that list, actually. I was watching him play against, I'd like to say it was Jake, one of our players, or maybe it was Menoth John, real Menoth John, the Madison one. There was a tournament, for the record. If Menoth John from Racine is listening to this, we know that you lost that title. We're on to you. But yeah, no, I want to try that list out, and I want to give Sloan a run because that just makes for a crappy experience. And as much as I like Melee Signar, if it's not viable because people won't allow you to engage or won't attempt to engage you in Melee anyway, then fuck it.
The good part about the measuring thing, though, is that I have had a huge increase in my ability to take scenarios by people keeping their measurements out.
that's fair.
You know, when they're especially with my Chromec list, because my threat ranges are like 17, 19, and 21 inches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they'll stay back far enough out, and then I'll be like, "Cool, fucker," and then run in and take all the points. You know,
and that's something you have much faster speed in Circle for the most part than Signar does. You know, by an inch or two for most of your models. So
I can see that being a shitty game to have to sit and have everybody stay right outside of your threat range the whole game.
It's very frustrating.
I think speed is going to be a big thing in the new meta, and then range attacks, obviously. All the other casts have been talking about how range attacks are OP and whatnot.
Yep.
But, yep.
Oh, yeah, that's why they ruined my Ravagors, right?
Oh. Your Ravagors got better in Mark III, whatever.
You haven't.
They
I
did.
don't. Have you played
Casey's
a
gonna
game yet?
murder
Like,
you.
not,
They did.
Not judgingly asking this, but have you played a game yet, or have you just?
I
really
played
looked
the
at-
one,
Okay.
the first week it came out against John.
Well, that's your first problem.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
play against your spouse.
Yeah.
That's never. I was so happy. We had this conversation at the last night. Was it the one night?
One of
Oh,
the
it was
nights.
at that place that you took me to, the Waukesha, the bar.
the
Tallies. Yes. I was happy to hear that I am not the only one who literally cannot keep my shit together when I play against my
Yep.
spouse. Like, I can play and never have any problems, and then I play against Brian, and I'm literally like, fuck you, motherfucker, fuck
I
you,
throw
you
dice on
fucking asshole. And he's like,
Fingers
why?
are gone.
What? And I'm like, I will cry. I will break down and be like, you're such a fucking asshole, Tim. Like, I would never treat anybody else that way.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, secretly, I'm like, I'm a terrible human being. And then Amanda was like, no, I don't play against Brian. And Casey and John are nightmare when they play against each other.
I throw dice at him.
A lot. I'm okay with playing Keith, but I have a previous ex I played as well that I hated playing against.
Yeah. I don't know what it... Brian's always... Brian's a really sweet guy, and he's always like, what am I doing wrong? Like, he wants to understand so that I don't have that negative game experience when I play against him. I'm like, I don't know, you're just terrible! Poor Brian. Yeah, so that made me feel good that I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
more games will change your opinion. Legion got nerfed hard, and Legion is not what it was, and Legion went from being like top, at least in the top 3, to
middle.
I would say low middle,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
So I
agree with
mean,
that.
you're
I think my main thing is that's the thing, and I don't really want to play it anymore.
yeah, but I think I
But-
still play Cyrus, and Cyrus has never been
Yeah.
top, and
Yeah.
Cyrus will
Well,
always just
and
be
I think there are some...
there.
I think that we might find out, and maybe I'm just wishful thinking, part of the whole new game experience thing is that there are going to be a lot of things over the next 6 months or so that change what
Yeah.
the perceptions we have right now. Like, the number one lists in Mark II weren't the number one lists because Privateer Press play tested them into amazingness. It was because some player, Keith or someone, thought, hey, what happens if I throw this into a list, played it, it was fucking baller, and then everybody played it, and it became like the most...
Well, they were still coming up with number 1 lists up until
The very
just
end.
before Mark III was
Yep.
a thing. So I think
Yeah.
Legion on paper right now doesn't seem what it used to be, and I think you're really not giving it a lot of credit by just because it's not one of the top factions.
Doesn't mean it doesn't have a
No.
really solid place.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you won't enjoy playing it, unless you're one of those people who only enjoys the game and while they're winning.
No.
In
Right.
which case, that's me.
Well, I think another downer is that our meta is pretty much all Signar and fucking Kador.
Oh yeah,
that
fuck
doesn't
that.
help your cause.
Yeah, no.
We have one Scorn, and I think Matt just completely said, fuck this game on Friday.
Yeah, fuck this game, I'm out, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Ethan will once in a while play... Is he play? I think he's playing Circle for the Journeyman League.
He's playing Circle for Journeyman, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
we
that's
have,
it.
5 Signar players and 4 Kador players for
And
Journeyman
actually, we
League.
just got a new
Is that-
Kador player.
We did get a new Kador player, so...
Were all of those people Kador players before Mark III, or did they switch over because Kador is supposed to be
No,
popular?
actually, I think... I don't know if Ashley's playing, but Ashley was Kador.
Yep.
Andy
was Kador.
Brian
Brian
has
was
played
Kador.
Kador and Trolls
Sure.
forever.
Yeah.
Our new player, Brian gave him a rundown of every faction, and
Yeah.
he was like, "This is the one I think I like."
He play tested it. He borrowed one of the guys'
I think he borrowed
the guy from Janesville, I think.
George's, but
I
George
think.
was playing Kador too, so he borrowed someone
Yeah.
else's models. And George is playing Kador, so
Lots and lots of Kador.
Lots of
Yeah.
Kador. And then John was playing Scorn beforehand. It was going to be Scorn 2016. That didn't last very long.
I guess in that way I feel very lucky because at the Waukesha store we've got a little bit of everything. We've
Yeah.
got Trolls and Scorn and Kador and Crix and Circle
Nope.
and Legion. And
You come to ours and it's just
to be
Signar
fair,
and
I think we
Kador.
have a mix. It's just overwhelmingly
Those
Yeah.
Kador
two.
Signar.
and it's overwhelmingly War Machine.
yeah.
There's only 2 Hordes people.
Yeah, even if I were playing Cyrus, I would still be playing War Machine. Although I really like Power Up, I'm going to go ahead and say that I am way jealous of Power Up. I would give up Induction for Power Up. Like,
Really?
fuck you guys who have it. Although you're the only one who has it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you. Fuck you, Jackie.
Yeah.
So should we talk about
Daniel?
Danielle since she's not
Yes,
here?
but
Oh.
Wisconsin likes Kador. Both love winter wastelands. Nathan will tell you.
I don't know. Crix has been awfully scarce lately. I'm just saying.
scarce.
It's true.
Like,
Travis stuck
yeah.
with Crix, but I haven't seen very many other.
I think
Screen is
they-
playing Crix.
I
Is
think
what
they
I've
still
heard.
have a place.
Oh, Chris
Yeah, I think
will.
absolutely.
But Chris is
Yeah.
he's weird like that.
And we have another player at the other store in Milwaukee who's also playing Crix, and I think there's a place for Crix still for sure.
I think Crix will. I don't think Crix will be like what it. Obviously, it won't be what it was, but I think Crix will have a good stronghold. Just like looking at what they can do still.
Yeah.
And there is still a place for minions or for monster spam. I mean,
Yeah.
for dude spam is hard for a lot of lists to combat. That's actually part of why I brought my Nemo 3 list, is because I thought that there might still be a Crix player here or there that we might need to
Yep.
to do something about. And it turns out they're not a big fan of Arcane Chain Lightnings. So
Surprise,
I'm sorry,
surprise.
Chain Lightning got nerfed. It's useless now. But the D3 arcs or the D3 Lightning arcs from Firefly, from Stormstrider, which I
Those are
totally have to throw in my
pretty
Nemo
good.
list.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
They're
I got
really
to
good.
play with that. I really like that.
Especially boosted on the
Yeah.
feet. Yeah, they're really good.
So Danielle, let's represent Danielle since
Yeah.
she's not here. She had at least one Scorn on Scorn matchup that was very close to a mirror match.
I don't remember what she played
It was-
into. I don't.
It was Geezy that she played against. I think she might have had another Scorn on Scorn
She didn't
match
have
too.
two scorn on
she had
scorn.
Two
Yeah.
Scorn on Scorn matches, and then she had she ended up going 0-4, but I think she played really well.
She played really hard.
Yeah, she played really hard, and she felt good about that she was taking things away from each game. And at the end, she switched back to playing minions because her ultimate takeaway was that she was trying to play Scorn as if it were minions, and it doesn't play the same way.
Oh, yeah. She played Geezy
oh.
and Paul.
Yes. Oh, hi. She played Geezy and Paul, and then she played Rhett and Mercs. So she ultimately made the decision to switch back to minions because instead of trying to play another faction like minions, but she played very well, really hard. She played at the event. So
Yes, Rasheth minion list is no longer viable, so saith Danielle.
womp womp. So oink oink.
I'm assuming those asterisks are probably bitches. I hope that says so oink oink bitches. Because that would be precious.
Aw, I love that. Now I'm just going to randomly say oink oink bitches randomly at random times, and it's going to be wonderful. I have two other WITC thoughts.
That's good because I have one.
Oh, good. You do
Well,
yours.
I have several because there was stuff that was outside of War Machine that we ended up doing. That was really interesting.
Pokemon?
Like the Pokemon stop that was at our
Yes.
yeah, that was good. Well planned, Travis. Well
It was
planned.
Yeah.
literally a Pokemon stop in the building.
It was great.
It was
Yeah, it
fantastic.
was really good for those of us at the bottom table who were just like, hang on, I'm just going to spin this really quick, or let me catch this Pokemon here. I'll even do it on my clock.
My
It's
favorite
okay.
part was when Aaron came up quietly to tell Danielle that there was a Squirtle, and then I went, Squirtle, everybody! And the whole world pulls their phone out. Like, Aaron was totally just trying to tell just Danielle, and then I heard it and was like, nope.
No, you don't
Everybody.
keep that shit a secret. If everyone can catch the Pokemon, everyone should catch the Pokemon. There's a gym next door, too, though, that was, like, switching hands all weekend.
Frequently, regularly switching hands.
Yep, I captured for Mystic a couple times.
Did you? Good. I still don't have anything. I play it so irregularly that I'm only like level 9. I can't even level up my shit yet because I'm not high enough level to like. So I have like a CP 560 Pidgeot.
Oh, that's enough to take gyms with. You have to learn to dodge. is
What
the
I
thing. If you
no
can
my
dodge, you can take
what I
gyms.
actually do is I go with Brian and wait for him to defeat a gym and then take
then
it
put something
before
in.
he can heal up.
Oh,
his
there you
guy.
go, there you
He
go.
hates me. Literally, this will be the thing that breaks off our wedding because I'll do it like 6 times in a row. He just can't heal up his dudes fast enough for me to
That
not
happened
take it.
to us on Baraboo.
Yeah.
The yellow guy took it down, and then I threw something in really fast while it was white.
We do that. I've gotten really good at sniping gems from people because as soon as I see it go down, I'm like, you better believe I'm putting the highest.
I've
EP
taken
Pokemon
so
I have
many
in
gyms
there.
that way. Like, I haven't won a gym by actually winning at all, but I have taken so many gyms that way.
You are all bitches.
Yes.
I have taken with Keith's phone and my phone. I will bike around the neighborhood. There's 3 or 4 gyms in our neighborhood at like 2 a.m, like a creep, and I will battle the gym with both of our phones simultaneously because the dodge is at the exact same time on both screens.
That's really funny.
You dodge at the same time, you attack at the same time, and you just mirror it with your hands on both sides.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I just like power down gyms, and we usually wind up we'll wind up with like 3 or 4 gyms for our reward for the day, and it's pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
It's not an exponential scale, by the way. I was very disappointed about that. It's linear, so every gym that you control, you get 500.
510.
Yeah.
It's really nice when you're holding 8 gyms and you cash in because I've done that before.
Oh, yeah.
that is rude.
I don't even know what that means. I'm just like a little level 9 self.
If you go in the shop,
you can
when
like
you're
collect.
when you're in a gym, have anybody in a gym, you can collect a reward basically.
Got it.
Once
yeah.
every 20.
Brian was like, "Are you at least?"
21 hours.
That makes sense because he was like, "Are you at least collecting your rewards?" And I was like, "What?"
There's a lot of stuff in the game that you have to learn by doing. There is
Dodge is not a thing that I know how to do. Like a lot of stuff I
You
haven't.
swipe sideways, and you have to be careful about it because if you tap too hard without swiping fast enough,
It'll
attack instead.
Sure.
So it takes some practice.
Aaron really wants us to know that he was not trying to keep Squirtle a secret.
Well, too bad.
Yeah.
That's what we have decided.
We're going to tell everybody that you are a secret keeper
But,
when it comes to Pokemon.
We took, Brian, Ethan, and I took 4/5 of the cocktail gators down to Bastille Days to do some Pokemon going. And Ethan was really gunning for like keeping them out too late so that they would be off their game on Saturday. We got like free shot cards at the spa, and Ethan was like, "Oh man, we should take them. We should go get them drunk." That didn't happen because Brian wanted to come back and shower. I was just like, I really just want all the Pokemon here.
Right.
Like,
I'm sorry, you're at a con. Showering is optional.
Right?
I will disagree.
It shouldn't be. I'll give you that, but it totally is.
Yeah. No, I showered twice Friday because we went out, and I was just like, I'm disgusting. It's gross. But the one thing that I wanted to bring up, and Danielle may be the one to correct me. There was some talk that there was a specific team that was maybe talking some trash about our team.
Oh. Fun.
I will lay the smack down.
So
What, did they have a problem with us?
it was more like at least we didn't get beat by the girls.
Misogyny at its core.
I will absolutely lay the smack.
Yeah, let's find out who it was. Let's go to their houses.
So-
No, I'm just kidding.
I got a crowbar.
I have had
We'll show you what getting beat by the girls
after
looks like.
Brian told me about this, I went into a fit because I'm like, fuck those guys, fuck them, fuck everything about them, and I was just like, just really upset by that because I
Is it
think
a team that we played?
it is not a team that we played.
Okay.
And I don't want to like
Yep. Nope. That's
give
fine.
it out, but I was just like really upset by that because I think we were the I don't want to say we were the one team that went in and had such a great time, but like we tried not to be like, I think we had fun and we didn't make our opponents feel shitty about beating us.
Yep, no.
Like I think most of our games were like good. There was like good sportsmanship all around. I think we had in general a good time.
That's
don't
actually
even
something I
know
want to bring
why-
up briefly before we forget.
Yeah.
There's what you talk about not calling them out. I kind of don't like the fact that we don't call that kind of stuff out.
Yes.
Like, especially, we were talking about this on the ride home, actually. People that are chronic cheaters and are very known to do so. People that are terrible sports and are well known in the community for doing that, but nobody calls these people out.
They should be
And
called out.
they should be called out.
So Danielle is saying in the chat, she believed it was just one asshole. She couldn't see anyone else saying something like that, but she was corrected. But it's the first time she's ever had a bad encounter like that in War Machine. Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it was the one team that collectively all of the other teams didn't want to play against.
Oh, well, fuck those guys hard in the ass in that
Without
case.
coming out and saying it.
Fuck you
because
guys.
I don't want to just be like, yeah, fuck them.
Well,
here are their
I
names,
totally
here's where
already
they live.
did.
Go ahead and like,
Well, I know who.
Go egg
Well,
their house.
I know who they were then.
But
You know,
it's pretty
and it's-
safe to say when you like every other team there was just like, I really don't want to get paired up against those
Yeah,
guys.
I don't want to get paired up against every other. Glorious. I feel glorious about this.
Yeah.
Because every terrible person has to find someone else to hate more than they hate themselves. Right? It's just psychology. So we, you know what? You sirs.
Yeah, I feel
Can
even better
hate
about
us
my
all you
Everbitch
want.
name now.
Yeah.
I want to keep it.
Glorious I feel about it. You know, the only reason you didn't lose to the girls is because you weren't paired up against the girls.
I don't know. I just really hate that passive-aggressive mentality that
Yeah.
we seem to have. That we just don't call people out on that.
Yeah,
kind of
I agree.
stuff. And, that's,
And
I
I'm
get not being aggressive
I-
about it and not being a dick yourself, but they're not going to get better if you don't call them out.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a thing where, obviously, if I would have heard it, that shit would not have, like...
Oh, obviously, yeah.
If I would have heard it, then words would. If I would have heard it, there would have been fists. I'm pretty sure that anybody in our team would have been like, "Fuck you, you
Yeah.
fucking asshole."
Yeah.
But what it really needs to be is it needs to be the dudes who they feel safe enough around to say that kind of shit. If a bro in your group that you're sitting and talking to is gonna be a fucking dickwad and start saying shit like that, you as the dude bro sitting there need to say, fuck you, you fucker, stop talking like that, because they're not going to say it to us. He's not going to say it to me.
No.
Because he knows that that's not going to end well for him. But if he's saying it around you, that means he feels safe enough that you don't care enough to say stop that. So anybody who was privy to this conversation, I challenge you next time to not be someone who a douchebag feels safe enough to be douchey around. Like, that's what it really comes down to. You not being a douche isn't good enough. You have to be the kind of guy that the douchebags don't want to be douchey around because they know you're not going to stand for it, right?
I would argue that standing for douchery is not much different than being a douche.
Being a douche,
Yeah.
yes. And this is a conversation I have with my Brian a lot, because my Brian is very much, he struggles with not wanting to offend
He's
people.
super non-confrontational.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart.
He likes to be a friend to everybody, and he likes for everybody to like him, and so he struggles to, when he overhears these things, he sort of just sits and festers in being angry but not wanting to do. And so we've been talking a lot about, like, you know, you're either the good guy or you're the bad guy. If you do nothing, you're automatically the bad guy, right? Like, you have to...
But according to Aaron, assault is frowned upon.
That makes me
Assault.
kind of sad. I'll be honest.
I mean,
Some people need a good smack.
No, I think
word
we're-
assault is totally fine.
I think we're all on like the same page though. Like when someone's being, and it doesn't matter whether it's like against the girls that are there or if it's just like a particular person. And I am not
if they had
like
said that about any other team, frankly, that would have been just as bad.
yes,
But I don't.
What
and
I'm
I
going
think
to
more
say is
people would
that-
have said "shut the fuck up" if it had been against any other team.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, there are times when I might badmouth someone behind their back. Like, I definitely am not a nice person, but I think there's a difference when it's just like straight up, oh, at least we didn't lose to the girls, versus like that guy is a total asshole.
Yeah,
and I don't want to.
There's
be
a
around them.
giant difference between those two things, because there's no merit to not. There's nothing about losing to us that is any different than losing to anybody else, unless you're a misogynistic fucking asshole who thinks that women are somehow less valuable than men. That's the only reason that losing to a woman's team would be any different than losing to a men's team. So if you are out there saying those things, then you're a fucking asshole.
You need to check yourself.
Though I will
worthless
say that
garbage.
makes me want to actually get back and practice again, so I can kick the
Right.
shit. So I can kick
Let's,
somebody like
let's,
my teeth.
let's just make
Yeah.
a pact now that we're all going to work really hard so that next year we can go and beat all of them. Especially
our
that
outro-
team.
Have you
and
guys
then-
seen Rick and Morty?
No.
For our
Yes.
outro video, can we do the when you remember when the episode where Rick and Summer beef up and inject with steroids? And can we make that our
Yes.
outro video?
Oh, man.
We're coming for you, that team. We're coming for you. Thank you for bringing that up.
I didn't want to just be like, oh, let's call out these guys for being douchebags, but
Yeah.
it needed to be said. It needed to be addressed.
Absolutely.
And Brian was really like, my Brian knows that I can go off the handle. Like, I get really upset and I get very wordy, and I was
Me
just
too.
ready to just, like, chew them out right now. But I've had, like, 4 days to sit on it, so
yeah.
now I'm feeling a little more,
Probably
like,
for the best.
wizened and
Yeah.
less upset. But
No.
fuck them. And I
You can.
cannot
My
wait.
reaction was very visceral.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And I'll hold on to that. 4 days from now, I'll still be saying it. But yeah. So that made me think, though, when we started talking, that made me think of a third thing. So I have 3 things to say about
It's fine.
WITC. Is that okay?
Casey, do you have anything to say about WITC
Yeah.
other than you're a jerk who decided to go to a concert instead?
How was
It was
It was
amazing.
Rammstein, to be fair.
Rammstein was amazing. They are beautiful, but it was fun. And John and I got to go to the, not the aquarium, the one next to it, observatory. I got to.
I'm sorry. Not the water, the sky one.
There were probably more Pokestops where you went to.
Yeah, the
were in-
servers hadn't been down because they released in Australia or Europe, whatever the fuck it was.
Canada.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Canada was on Sunday.
Yes, but it was Canada.
Was it Canada?
They didn't release it anywhere else that weekend.
Yeah, Europe
whatever.
was earlier this week, I think.
Whatever. But the servers were down for like half the time. Most of the time we were at the observatory.
Yeah.
There was a big meetup in Chicago, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was that weekend.
I hope it was worth it.
It was worth it. We got
I
a lot
hate
of
you.
walking in. Got a lot of eggs hatched, and yeah, it was a good time. I got a free,
I just told
corn fan.
everybody that it was for a corn concert, and that
Hey.
made it seem really less cool.
At least you
Casey's not here because she's at a corn concert.
At least you didn't say like a One Direction.
Hell no.
She was going to see
Casey's here seeing
Justin
Justin Bieber.
No, corn was good. I enjoyed corn and Breaking Benjamin and Gemini Syndrome and Kuma's Corner Burgers. Yeah,
All of those things sound awful until you talk about the food that's actually good.
Kuma's Corner, Led Zeppelin burger. Nom nom.
What is a Led Zeppelin burger?
Deliciousness.
Ooh, what's on it?
Deliciousness.
Can we have a
Meat
food
and
porn moment, please?
bacon, and I don't remember what else, but it was delicious.
Oh, my stomach just can't.
Good.
Yeah. It sounds good. Now I hate you less because there was food there.
There was a lot of food
Those
there.
had tallies.
When we got there on Friday, like, majority of the places were out of food. It's just
That's
like,
not a
oh
surprise.
my fucking god.
Yeah.
That happened.
Oh.
We went to War Machine Weekend last year. The barbecue place was out of food on Sunday.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Yeah. Tally's was amazing, by the way.
Tallies, the fucking pretzel.
Yeah, that pretzel. So Amanda orders this thing that's called what's it called? A huge ass pretzel or a giant ass pretzel or
Just
something?
a big fucking
As an appetizer, like after she had ordered her food, she was like, "Oh, and can I get the pretzel?" And we're all like, "Yeah, that makes sense. That's legit. It's called a big pretzel, so maybe I'll have a bite if it's too big for you." And then they bring out this fucking pretzel. It was like its own, like
the size of an arm, wasn't
bread. It was
Yeah.
so fucking big. Like the pretzel was like fist thick.
Oh my god.
The whole pretzel.
Oh, that's
and it was
awesome.
like
a pizza
it was it came out on a piece. It was like probably 12 inches in diameter.
That's awesome.
Fist dough, salted, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a bite." It was
Like, yeah, you can have a bite. I'll have a bite. That'll be all the pretzel that there is.
Yeah, no, I ate like a solid pretzel's worth by myself, and like everybody else was having
That's
some.
awesome.
It was
Jeez.
giant, and then our food came out, and everything again. It was like on these giant ass plates. Like
Jeez.
Yeah,
it was
And it
ridiculous,
wasn't
but
that
good
costly
food.
either.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
For the amount of food you got, it was really inexpensive.
Yeah.
And our server was amazing. That I wanted to get her name so that I could call and tell the manager how good she was.
See, you're reiterating like the Sunday when we went to Tally's,
Oh, yes.
Friday when we went to Tally's, because people who know Brian likes to eat at bars with shitty bar food and whatever. So we went to Tally's twice in a weekend at my
You didn't like
displeasure.
that. He would have gone 3 times because he wanted to go on Saturday
Like,
night
let's go
too.
Saturday night too. I'm like, son of a bitch. We went there and that was a much less exciting experience. Our server.
Well, that's just because I wasn't there.
Well, our server she must have been newer, which is fine because, new servers are a thing. It has to happen eventually. But her, tablet didn't work, and then her pen didn't work when she brought a pad and paper. And then so we didn't get to order right away. And we were waiting for Danielle, Aaron, and Dex. And they showed up, they order, and then they don't get our food order. So, there was some weird things that happened there. And then there was live music, and the live music wasn't... When it's an old guy and a guitar, and it was just not feeling it that night. I was like, I don't want to go back there. But Sunday was great.
Redeemed itself on Sunday
Yes.
for you, I'm sure. Sunday was good.
Saturday night we did toppers. You missed out. We did toppers, and we were in the hotel lobby.
I poured Mike's Hard Lemonade into a Mountain Dew bottle in the lobby because we weren't allowed to have alcohol in the lobby, but I didn't want to go into a room to do it. So I just got to a spot where none of the cameras were pointed at me and had somebody stand next to me and just poured Mike's Hard Lemonade into an empty Mountain Dew bottle.
color, right?
Well, it looked very cloudy.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that it was very lemonade cloudy Mountain Dew, but nobody...
I did have my beverage in my black water bottle, the tin one
Yes.
that I have. So just hanging out in the lobby, eating pizza, drinking and board games,
Being shushed regularly. So it's this hotel in Waukesha, Wisconsin, right? So we're sitting there, all of us, liberals, and everybody's
In
sitting
Waukesha,
around. In
of all
Waukesha.
places.
So we're talking about this. We start talking about what a fucking douchebag Trump is or something. And literally, within 15 seconds of the political talk, the owner of the manager on duty comes over and is like, "We're gonna need you to quiet down." There had
You're
to be
upsetting the Republicans,
Yes,
Celeste.
right.
over at all the rest of the night.
rest of the
Even
night.
when Nathan was there,
being loud,
being
Nathan. Yeah. Nathan, we kept shushing him because they literally, he came over and he was serious. He was like, "You guys have to be quiet. We have guests here." So then we were shushing the rest of the night. Nobody said anything. Just the one time we happened to be talking about douche Trump, then we got a shush.
You're
from
gonna
the
upset the
management.
natives.
Yeah,
clearly.
right. There were lots of old.
For those who aren't familiar with Wisconsin, Waukesha is basically the city that elected Scott Walker.
It is
Yeah.
by far the most conservative county in the entire state.
Easily.
is-
And they have a 90% voting rate.
Which is
great.
saying a lot
But-
because the state as a whole is relatively red, with the exception of Madison and Milwaukee and
Sure.
Green Bay.
Sure, but it's like a pink
Yeah.
red. It's not like a
It's not
blood red.
Waukesha red.
It's
Yeah.
like purple.
Waukesha is maroon.
Yeah, we're kind of like a purplish red,
Not quite. Not
We're not
quite
like period
purple.
blood red, which is what Waukesha is.
Waukesha is
Waukesha
period blood.
period blood red.
Yeah. Oh my.
And I know that we're just talking about WITC again, but I could not get over how many old people were staying in those hotels.
Lots of old people.
In our hotel, there were lots of old people, and we went to the Quality Inn. And I use finger quotes because this place was a bigger shithole than the Super 8 was.
Hey, my Super 8 was pretty great.
The Super 8 was leaps and bounds superior than the Quality Inn. Yes, hotel quality. When we were over there, because that's where Jeremy, Chris Green, Team Cocktail Gators was staying, and we were meeting up with them to go do the thing. There were lots of old people there too. And I'm just why are there so many old people staying in
Waukesha
hotels?
Old Folks Convention.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I was and I knew that Bastille Days was going on in Milwaukee, so it makes sense for the hotels to be busier and a little more
guess.
costly. But fucking old people
Yeah,
everywhere.
Everywhere. There were lots of old people in that hotel. Legit.
And there was that old lady who came out for a plate.
She asked us for a plate. We gave her one of the hotel plates that the hotel had given to us to eat our toppers on, and she was like, "Thank you so much." Like, she was so grateful for the plate that we gave her that totally belonged
there
to
was
the
a car
hotel.
show nearby is one of the comments I'm seeing.
Oh,
so
that
Oh,
makes
car
sense.
show. There you go. Old people, car
Old people,
show.
car
That
show.
makes a lot of sense. So I want to give a shout out to Margaret. Margaret was this 20-year-old girl who came on Sunday to the WITC with her
that's right. She
boyfriend.
filled in for somebody.
No, she wasn't a
didn't
player.
fill in.
She was just
wasn't
she was
there.
just observing.
Oh, I thought she was
so
playing.
she ended up playing. Her boyfriend ended up playing you in the last game, and that was my game against Randy. And I
You
was
being
sitting-
me, Amanda.
Amanda, sorry. She played against, or her boyfriend played against Amanda, and I was sitting right next to them playing my game against Randy. So I decided, Sunday, my other story goes into this too. Sunday morning, I woke up feeling very socially anxious. I have, like, crippling social anxiety, like, to the point where I have panic attacks and I get really down on myself if I feel like I've made a bad impression on someone or if I think that someone doesn't like me. And Sunday morning, I don't know whether it was just being around so many new people all day on Saturday or what it was. It might have been the hangover because I drank so much and then had like a giant, like, I was...
Your couple of mics.
Yeah, I
I'm
had
not
like
judging you.
two. I don't drink, and I get drunk really fast. And then I made the mistake on Saturday night of sitting down by myself, and then I just crashed. And I was just sitting at the hotel. They're all over there playing a game. I'm in a chair by myself
Fuck that
like
game,
this.
by the way.
I'm just sitting there like this, and then I finally just got up and walked out to the car to fall asleep and didn't even tell anybody where I was going. Because so I woke up on Sunday morning and I was feeling really like almost didn't even want to go because I was so nervous and like anxious. So then when I got there, I was like, okay, I have to take a deep breath and I have to make decisions that counter this, because if I let this fester, I'm going to be weird and socially awkward all day long. So when we sat down next to this girl who you had already called out because we thought she was going to be a substitute player.
I was just curious. I was like,
She showed up out of nowhere. We thought she was going to be a substitute player.
They had 5 people standing there when
And
they
she
were
was one
doing
of
their
them.
listing, and so I was just like,
Who
I
are
don't know
you?
who you
Who
are.
are you?
You're not Steven, obviously.
So I struck up conversation with her. I was like, "Are you, a player? She talked about how she's new. She's thinking about she potentially wants to play Convergence, and I was like, well, that's awesome that you got paired up against Amanda then, because you can watch how it plays. We talked about the pros and cons of the faction and the various things, and whether or not she should have a secondary faction, in her belt to be prepared, whatever. And then later on, I went over and talked to her. Again, she goes to Marquette, but she lives in Chicago, and she is really looking forward to starting up and playing the game. And so we added each other on Facebook, and I told her, like, we need more girl players. We want more girl players. I'll do anything to support you to become a... Because they're...
Just talking about the car show.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, the car show.
I guess I don't get why there aren't more and more girl players, because giant stompy robots are pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and it might just be because people say things like, at least we didn't get beat by the girls team.
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair.
There's gaming in the larger umbrella of gaming does not treat women very well.
No,
And
that's
so
very true.
there's a stigma, I think, for a lot of women.
It's really on where the net meta is too.
Yeah, the meta itself. And he goes to, because he's a student at Marquette, he comes to not the Waukesha Milwaukee store, but the Realm of the Dragon Milwaukee store is where he plays his games, and I'm the only girl that goes there. So that meta, if that's where she's going to play, it's going to be like me and her, and that's it. So, but I touched base with her. We added each other on Facebook. She's excited, and I'm excited, and I just wanted to give her a shout out because I'm excited for her to play and for us to have another strong, solid girl on the team. So
It's very, like, kind of backtracking back to that, like, why girls don't play. I would almost argue that War Machine is not the war game, the tabletop war game that brings people into tabletop wargaming.
correct.
No,
I would
that's
think
very true.
It's usually 40K. I think that's where people really start out, and
Which
40K
is a rough
is-
place to start.
It is a
Yeah,
rough
and
place
it's
to start.
super misogynistic within the game itself.
Yeah.
And then all of the players are just
I will
worse.
second that idea because I had no gaming experience coming into War Machine. It was like I went from I never played Magic, I never played anything, like never any games ever anything, and I'm like the only one ever. Like everybody else who plays came from somewhere first.
I came
like
new to War
gateway
Machine
games.
as well without without a gateway
We're the
game,
cocaine.
too. Yeah.
Like everybody starts with a gateway game.
Everybody else started. We just hop straight into coke.
Yeah, exactly. Just straight into the cocaine. Like hop in. Yeah.
I would almost argue that. I mean, you could almost look at the game as like, Magic is like cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Like Magic is more like crack. Like,
Magic
let's
is
be
crack.
honest. Magic is, but Magic really is like the gateway game.
Yes,
like when it comes to
absolutely.
like tabletop board gaming, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say everyone, but like all demographics will play Magic, and then they kind of like disperse from there. But like 40K really is, it's like the archway into wargaming.
Yeah.
Like you probably played 40K and then you probably picked up something else that looked cooler, and if you're a 40K player and you're a woman, you're like a
Fuck this.
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't really the fluff doesn't even support women very
No.
well. So that's just a thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'm really happy that she is going to start playing and we're going to see more of her. I said maybe by next year we could have 2 girls teams
Well,
because
if
we've
our
got
objective is to stomp face Team Douche,
right.
then
need
2
more of 'em.
female
Yeah,
teams.
because we already have
Yeah.
with you, since you weren't there, more players than will fit on one team. So if we
Yeah.
add Margaret in, then we're only 3 players shy. I think we could get there were some of the girls from are all of you in the Indiana War Machine Hordes Facebook group?
No.
There's a women, not Indiana. Did I say Indiana?
Yes.
I don't know why that's not related in any way to what I'm talking about. There's a Women of War Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Are you in that one? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm actually talking
We could
about.
probably get Jackie Sutherland or someone.
Yeah, someone from that
Yeah.
group, Zosha, if she comes down for it,
Yeah.
at any point in time. So we could probably do 2 teams, and that would be wicked awesome. So that's my that.
And they're a fun group. They're good. I like the Women of War Machine
Zosha's
group.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, the ATC is coming up.
Yeah.
We should talk.
I am already committed. I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're doing a Madison group, like a Madison Scrub group, and it's going to be sweet.
Well,
Oh, and 4.
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about it because I would love to get in. On
Brian,
that,
I think,
actually.
already has a team together for ATC. I don't know if I was being added to that team or not.
Okay.
I don't know. He talks about stuff, and I tend to not listen.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, we should talk about a girls' team if there aren't
Yeah.
too many of us already involved in other teams. 'cause that would
ATC
be
is going to
awesome.
be super vicious, though.
Yeah.
ATC is
Well,
gonna
I would
be-
not go into that planning to win any.
Oh,
That's gonna be a
no.
Slow and Haley too.
Yeah.
What is the jankiest shit that I can throw on the table?
Go-
that
go
might
big or go
help me
home,
out?
guys.
Although I am dropping my Morvana list and picking up Wormwood, and I think that a Chromac Wormwood pairing
Wormwood
is
was
scary.
all around WTC.
People
Yeah.
calling him
Hardcore.
Wormwood keeps throwing me off.
Because
Because I keep going, is that their new Battlebox caster? What is this?
That's
No,
just
it's the tree.
Cassie's. Yep, it's the tree. Because I've been playing. I am undefeated with my Wormwood. I've played 1 game, and I won.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm undefeated.
you have
I'm
So,
Haley's win slow
our
and our
resident
familiar.
40K top player in Baraboo because I won 1 tournament and I never played in a tournament since.
Awesome.
But
Good
I
job.
did win that tournament hard.
What more do you need to prove? You won.
So on Sunday morning, after before all of that happened, I got there and I took this big sigh, deep breath, and I said, "Okay, Celeste, don't fuck this up for yourself," and decided that I wasn't going to be socially awkward. So when I'm in moments like that for myself, I really have to push. I have to do something that is completely outside of my comfort zone to take the pressure off of myself. So I walked up to a table full of men who I did not recognize, except for Tom Guan, who I did recognize. And he was talking to people so I assumed that they must also be good players, right? 'Cause
Just assume.
I didn't play against them, so they weren't in the losers bracket. right?
Tom
So-
Guan is the scrubbiest good player ever.
Yeah,
though.
so
he's great.
Tom Guan has a little bit a reputation, right,
Yeah.
for being Tom Guan. So I walked up to the table. I was like, "Hey guys," and they looked at me like, "Who the fuck are you, and why are you talking to us?" And then I was like, "So Tom, I just wanted to let you know that people are calling me the Tom Guan of the future." And he didn't really say anything. Like, he just sort of looked. And so then this whole thing elaborated into now I'm making shirts. I'm making a shirt for Tom Guan that says the player formerly known as Tom Guan. And then I'm making a shirt for myself that says the new and improved Tom Guan. That we can wear together when we're together. So we had this whole conversation. Apparently there's something about Tom Guan apparently references To Catch a Predator. Is that the name of it? To Catch a Predator? I don't know. Jokes that I don't understand were told, and I laughed at them like I understood them because I was trying not to be socially awkward. So anyhow, I'm making these shirts that say that I'm the next Tom Guan, and Tom Guan is now the Tom Guan of the past. And then we leave. I go home, and I get home, and I have a Twitter notification that Tom Guan followed me on Twitter. Apparently, I got his attention a little bit because he was like, I got to keep my eye on this next Tom Guan. Maybe see what she's up to. So that was my stepping outside of my comfort zone thing, was telling Tom Guan that I was the Tom Guan of the future. And then I went 2-2, and I posted on Facebook and said, yeah, because Tom Guan regularly goes 2-2 on an 0-4 team. And Joshua Rosenthal was like, well, maybe not the Tom Guan, the former Tom Guan, but Tom Guan now does. Valid point. Yes. The new and improved Tom Guan. 2-2 on an 0-4 team.
Worst record.
Their team didn't rank, though.
No, their team didn't rank.
Their team did not rank. So, I mean, we're on the way to be that team.
He was 4-0, but whatever. I'm still doing it. Watch out, Tom.
I remember last year for War Machine Weekend, I think his goal was to get as many points as he possibly could without actually qualifying. So I remember him talking about that.
He's at another event right now, and he just posted on, I can't remember if it was on Facebook or Twitter, that the Wormwood got killed on the bottom of 1, so he was feeling really bad about that. Like, somebody somehow rolled like 17 damage on him on the bottom of 1.
That's rough.
Yeah,
That sucks.
So that made me feel better about my ability.
Next Tom
Being
Guan.
killed on the bottom of 1 is something I can definitely do.
yeah.
So if that's what it takes. I'm totally there.
I'll play Sloan and we'll do that.
We'll make it
I'm just
work.
going to write down here things that we talked about, the next Tom Guan.
The next Tom Guan. That's me. That's me.
I forgot what I was going to say.
How are we doing for time?
Oh, I don't know.
I think we're...
It is 4:47, so we were about an hour and 20 minutes in.
Okay. Yeah, I know that they're starting at 6:30, so if
We've
going to
got
do
time.
food.
Oh, are we going to do food in between?
Yeah, that's
so we
what
should
I'm
wrap up.
thinking. I don't really have anything. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, not really.
I was really excited about how much information I took from this. That was my only.
Go ahead.
Did you just think of something?
Yeah.
Okay. I spent like a solid amount of time in the couple of days before going through and looking at all the other lists and like trying to do the pair ups that made sense or whatever. Totally like am terrible at it. But I learned so much, and I left the event saying like I feel like right now I feel more poised to actually become a competitive player than I've ever felt before, because I took that time and invested that time into like looking at all the other factions and understanding what the other casters do and how their gameplay works and blah 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 blah. As long as I like actually continue and retain that information and maintain that learning, like the WITC for me as a team captain, doing that extra work because I felt like I needed to have that, a little grasp for the team, was giant for my like
I did the same thing when
comprehension.
I did the breakdown for myself, just looking at, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things to being a good War Machine player, just knowing like what everything else does, because you can't play you can play into something if you don't know what it does, but you're not going to do well.
You made a great point too when we were talking before it started about who we should be paired against or how we should think about things, that most of our team was very stuck in a I can't play this faction mentality. Like everybody had at least one faction, I think, that they were like, don't put
all of us felt that way.
Several of us.
Every
don't put
one
us
of
up
us
against
was
red.
like,
I can't go up
play
against red. And then you were looking and I was looking, and you came into the chat and said like, I think we're looking at this wrong, because there are things that can be taken into, like you were talking specifically about trolls, I think.
Cyrus in general shouldn't touch trolls, like just in general, because there is too much to crack that Cyrus cannot do.
Sure.
But very specifically Davis and his Calandra with slag trolls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into that and get eaten alive.
Yeah.
Like that was my like I can't. But I had the big rat fear too, and then I started looking at some of the caster pair ups, and I was just like, I might not do this well, but on paper I can.
Right.
I can probably do this well.
The other thing is skill level, too. Like, I had developed a very severe aversion to Crix, but that's because the only player I ever played Crix against was fucking Travis. Fucking Travis. And so I was like, I can't play Crix. I can't do it. It's terrible, and I'll die every time. I can't do it. And then I started playing other Crix players, and I'm able to like... It totally, even the same caster, I played 2 games 2 nights in a row, Venethrax against Travis and Venethrax against someone else, and lost hardcore, won. Skill level has a lot to do with it too, because somebody playing that Calandra list, you could totally take them out if they don't know what they're doing.
Oh, no. 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 Slag trolls are just like, you have constructs, you're dead.
Well,
that's literally what it is. They get like extra dice on constructs.
Sure.
So... And then if they boost, I'm just like, okay, fuck this.
I'm out. Yeah.
Well, I've actually asked Keith what he did to get really, really good, because he started like at the very tail end of Mark 1, beginning of Mark 2, and got good fairly quickly. Well, it turns out he's not much of a worker at work, as it turns out. He would sit there for 8 hours on his phone on War Room, or bringing cards into work
Brian
before War Room was a thing, and that's all he would do at work, rather than watching Netflix or something else that everybody else does at work. He would just sit there and play with War Machine stuff and read and memorize War Machine stuff.
Brian has War
good.
Room up literally any moment that he's not sleeping. He has War Room up. Like,
yeah, that is definitely one step to becoming a good player, just knowing everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not a good player.
Yeah, same here.
I'm really looking to invest a lot of time going forward into that, just because if I want to be competitive, if I want to beat Dickbag team, I'm gonna need to
this problem, and it's gonna sound really like I'm going to sound like an asshole when I start talking here. So, like, forgive me. I'm one of those people who I'm really smart, and I have, like, problem solving is just one of those things I can do really well. And other things I pick up, and I'm just naturally good at it. Like, it's just what I do. When I approach War Machine, I know how to play the game. I can look at the board and understand what I need to do to get somewhere. But if I have no idea what my opponent has and what my opponent can do, which is generally what most games go like for me, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So War Machine for me is, I bet that I could be the next Tom Guan if I actually put effort into learning.
Is that going to be a mantle that just gets transferred
for the
next Tom Guan?
We can have a race to the top. Who will be, the next Tom Guan?
It could be like the Mayhem Cup.
We could create like a reality show and air it during our podcast.
Actually, that could be a thing.
Oh my god!
America's next Tom Guan.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's not from America.
America's first Tom Guan.
I mean, he was in Arizona before.
Yeah,
He was America's first. Now that he's gone, he loses the mantle.
America-ish Tom Guan is what we'll call him.
But no, I think I think that's a hurdle that I have to get over, is that I could do much better. I know I could do much better, but I'm just like, god damn. There are too many models.
Yes.
And there are too
Trying to learn the
many.
other factions is so fucking overwhelming.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, holy balls.
I have Cyrus on lockdown pretty well. I usually have to like check my mat and rat or my defense armor every now and again, but I know what stuff does. I know how they do it. And then I'm like picking up Signar, and I'm just like, oh, there's so much stuff here. I have all of these cards to go through.
What does that say?
Uptime. I'm not sure
Exclamation point uptime.
I definitely read Foop time. Like, when did we say anything that would have made that be a comment? Sorry, continue. From here, it definitely looks like Foop time.
I think my big struggle with War Machine in general is I'm really good at planning out my own stuff and what I'm going to do. And this is the same struggle I had with chess. I actually played competitive chess in high school, and I would do my own thing, and then I would just like, no, whatever they do. I would not even take into account what the opponent was likely to do. And it's almost always very, very predictable what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think about that and plan a step ahead. And that's something that I need to work on. And that's what I used to do with chess, actually, is I would play both sides. So I'd move one piece on one side, go to the other side, do my move on the other side and just play both sides. And I could do that with War Machine too, I suppose, to learn.
Randy
to play.
does that frequently.
Yeah,
You
to learn
also
to play
have
the other side.
The benefit with chess is all of your pieces on one side are the exact same on the other side.
That's true. That's
so
true.
like you can
Nothing is going to surprise you.
No.
Yeah, but then you've got the same like fucking War Machine. This is a problem with War Machine is that you have players who like your top tier players are probably going to be pretty typical in what they're going to plan on doing, and then you've got these like weird middle ground of like you would think that this would be the smart choice, but they're not thinking that same thing you are, and they're going to do something that totally throws you off. Like that's I think that's a thing.
And there's always going to be gotchas,
Yeah.
especially with assassinations and stuff like that. I have a hard time
Not when they
predicting
can just measure your
assassinations.
16 inches away.
Even inside of the
Fuck
models,
them.
like even knowing what the models are capable of, like I play, have played like 80 games with Abby 2 against Randy, totally think that I have that, I understand what that list does and what that game plan is going to be. And then I come to Madison and I play Abby 2 against Casey, or I play Abby 2 against Dan Wasmer, as I was playing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I get beaten to smithereens. The same models, same list almost, and it's just the play style and skill level is so unbelievably different that all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, he didn't use those things together. Like those things together are baller. Like I can know what they do, and it takes a lot of. There's so much nuance in the game and how the game style is played.
Also, can we talk about for a sec? I'm sorry. I cracked open my Battlebox and I took out my little tokens and I went ahead and wrote my little upkeep spell on one of them, and they're fucking black. God damn it, those tokens are black, and I have a black marker,
Wait, what?
and I write ass on it for, I don't even remember, I just remember that I wrote ass on it. Oh, it was for a sale, that's right, I cast a sale, and I just wrote ass on it, but I'm just like, okay, this is good, throw it down, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that reads.
Right.
The Battlebox tokens are black.
That's
Yeah,
the
they
dumbest
are.
thing ever.
It is.
They're gonna make it great.
But for every faction, because mine were
Yeah,
black too.
it's
like
all
it's
factions.
all
It's all factions.
All factions
The-
are black.
Okay,
focus
what the
is
fuck,
cool.
Privateer Press? That was stupid, and you
Yeah.
should feel bad.
Well,
I feel like what it was is that they had manufactured a bunch of black tokens, realized they were shit, and then
then-
decided just to put them into the battle boxes since it was sort of a
That's probably close. to
haphazard, like
yeah.
we just want everybody to have everything they need to play, so here,
Yeah.
take our leftovers.
well, the black focus is something they give
That's
out during
fine.
Iron
Yeah.
Arena.
Yeah.
And those are cool because they're like special. You get them during Iron Arena. Now they're
Yeah.
special. You only get them in the battle box. But fucking black writable tokens.
yeah,
like,
I was like, and trash for mine, like
God damn
right
it.
away.
I just was like, oh, here you're gonna write my word, and then I'm looking at it. I'm just like,
I mean, I guess that's more business for places like Muse that make good tokens.
Yeah.
Tortorific says, my
Tortorific.
first game in Mark III, my opponent threw his caster at me with a gladiator, then a mammoth, then spell assassinated me.
oh, that
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
That sounds like a Mark III learning curve.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden things do things so differently
Yep.
than they used to do.
Yes,
Black tokens are the stupidest
are
thing.
the stupidest
They
thing.
are.
They really are
That was a
stupid.
terrible idea.
If it was like, hey, we mass produced 80,000 of these black stupid ass tokens, and then I understand. Like they're giving us.
Still,
but-
that was just a dumb idea to begin with.
and you know what they would say?
Clear.
Buy a white marker. That's what they would say.
Where the fuck do you get a
white dry erase markers.
It's true.
It's true. That's what they would say.
So
Yeah, it was dumb.
Recommendations.
yeah.
Recommendations. I have to
Yeah.
Google this. Hang on.
Well,
Recommendation requires Google.
I recommend that next year the WiTC is not on Chicago Open Air Night.
Yeah.
Travis and
Or
Nathan.
just don't go, Casey.
Unless Ramstein is there
Rammstein may
again.
or may not be there.
If
I
he's
suppose.
there again, I have to go. Just don't do it on the same weekend.
That's not what I wanted to do.
I don't think that is it going to be in July every year?
I don't know.
I
It was the first year of doing it, but it was a massive success.
Assuming that they were doing that because it's like opposite of
Yeah.
ATC.
Because ATC is going to be
February.
February.
Yeah, this
Yep.
was basically a warm up for that, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're planning on keeping it in July every year. I feel like I'm making this up, but I thought I heard that it was going to be more like August or September.
Well, that's
regularly.
even worse.
Yeah, well, Gen Con, and then I don't do anything during my birthday month because it's my birthday month, and I spend the whole time
All you
celebrating.
do is celebrate your birthday all month long.
Yes, all of
Sweet
September.
Jesus.
I'm totally kidding. I am not that narcissistic. I would love to be able to afford to do something like
I was
that.
just gonna say that's not narcissistic. That's
That's
just fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up then. It's totally possible that I'm making that up.
I would hope. I don't think July is bad. I think July is a really good time. It's after Lock and Load and before Gen Con.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh well.
Just pick better concerts to go through to the rest of the year. Like
I can't help that you're a Rammstein hater. Okay.
I'm not a hater.
Yes, you are.
I just think your
You are a
music
hater.
choices just
no.
like 2001.
Yeah.
It's very-
Who was singing to the 2000s music at Monks on Friday?
That was Ethan. It was all Ethan.
Also recommend Chicago Open Air. It's a lot of fun. Next.
I highly recommend Chansey for putting in gyms. I had to fight a CP300 Chansey. It took 3 over 500 CP Pokemon to get rid of it, and even that I timed out multiple times. So if you're gonna camp a gym, get a really good Chansey.
Fuck Chansey.
Yeah, fuck Chansey. I know. And I'm sure they require like 10k eggs and tons of spamming. So I will be doing lots of running in the next couple weeks to do that. Yeah.
I have like 7 eggs and incubators right now.
Oh, nice. I've only
Yeah.
got 1 incubator left. So.
I got a bunch for leveling up to 20.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm about to hit 20, so there's hope.
hit level 20. Ultra balls, lots of incubators.
Only
Yep.
11 levels away.
Good luck. 19 to 20 was
Do the lucky egg trick for
lucky
19 to 20.
eggs and
Yeah.
like 20 Weedles, 10 Pidgeys,
Yep.
and it's
all
it's-
ready to evolve. So don't just have 20. Have 20 that you have enough candy to evolve.
Got
Yeah.
it.
The
And
lucky eggs
Rattatas.
give you double EXP, so you get 1,000 per evolution instead of 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Power level.
And don't so like take your Weedle and level it up to a Kakuna and then just get rid of it.
yeah, don't do Beedrill too because it wastes your. I mean, you still get 1,000 for going up to Beedrill, but it costs you like 50
Sure.
instead
Yeah.
of 12.
It's
so.
not efficient with your candy.
No.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much. Learning so much.
So my recommendation, everyone knows I'm a child. I really like anime still. Whatever. Magical girl anime is like the best genre of anime.
Oh, I saw
love
your
Sailor
Facebook
Moon.
post the other day. Yeah.
Yep. So I was recommended, and this is the title of the anime, by the way. It's called Cute High Earth Defense Club Love! ! It is a
That is
magical
the most
boy.
Japanese thing ever.
Yeah, it's a magical boy anime. So here is this group of five high school males, and this pink wombat from outer space lands in their bathhouse and tells them that they need to defend Earth, save Earth with the power of love.
I love everything about this.
I do too. Please keep going.
So ridiculous. So they get these like little bracelets, and when they transform, they say love making, and they kiss their little bracelet, and then they
Aw.
transform in these stupid ass outfits, which are just like the whole anime like mocks itself along the way, which
That's
is
awesome.
really precious. But they're called like battle lovers, and they're like it's.
I love this.
It's on Hulu. I highly recommend it. It's 12 episodes right now. I don't know if they're going to continue into another season. It really is the greatest show ever so far.
Yeah, Tortorific says it's a great title and it sounds like the greatest show ever.
Okay,
This is why I had
what's
to
it called
Google
again?
It's called Cute High Earth Defense Club Love. I had to Google Magical Boy Anime because I don't remember what it's called because it's like 6 words that don't chain together well.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen Oh My Goddess?
No, but I'm really particular about like my anime.
Okay.
Oh my god, this is worth it for the first couple seasons, but
Okay.
it does kind of go downhill after a
Okay.
little while. Yeah.
I just like I had some recommendations and I looked at them and I was just like, did I send you? Okay, maybe I didn't send you guys. We're not friends on Snapchat. When I was looking for an anime to watch, there was one. I don't remember what it was called, but I read the description of it and it was just like parents got married and siblings now live together and it's like a love anime and they're like and all of these boys are in love with their sister.
That's not creepy at all.
I was just like, what is this? And I took a picture of it and I sent it on Snap and I just captioned it question mark. Like what is this? But I have heard that it's actually pretty good. So if you're into creepy stuff like that, that might be the anime for you. I don't know what it's called, but it's on Hulu.
Pornhub tells me a lot of people are into creepy stuff like that. So
You don't need to make sense when you have the power of love. That
Okay,
also sounds
Gen Con
creepy,
and-
Uncle.
Gen Con and Pokemon Go, where are you talking about? We need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going, but for the benefit of people who are
Oh
going.
yeah, tell us because I will be there and I will need to catch all of the things.
I mean, it's got to catch them all. It's not got to catch some of them.
That's true.
I'm gonna have to show the
that
video
while
to
you're
Casey.
crying.
Have you seen that video? I put it on my Facebook of the guy who is crying on Snapchat about Pokemon.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to catch them all.
The song says "gotta catch them all." It doesn't say "gotta catch some of them." That shit don't even sound right. The Riverwalk. He says.
Riverwalk,
Okay.
that is right by Gen Con,
In
if I
Indy.
recall. Yeah, by the
Yeah.
convention hall.
My recommendation is to check out on the Privateer Press website. They have a job opening right now for.
Oh my lord, are you serious?
Yes,
We were
wait.
just talking about how terrible an idea this is.
Hold
right
on.
before you got here.
Hold on. Wait, though. Why do you think that it's terrible?
Because they
I
pay
get
like
more
half of what you
PTO there.
deserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get more PTO at my job where I feel like I get no PTO.
Fine. But the job itself is basically just to play War Machine for funsies.
Ask Charles Foster about that.
Okay. Well, then my
You
recommendation
work
is to
really,
go
really
look at
hard
it
and
and
you
then
don't get
not do anything about it.
Yeah, I looked at one of their other jobs, their like social media coordinator something or other, which I don't know if it's still listed, and I'm totally qualified for that position. But if moving to Seattle is what I want to do, I need to be able to afford living there.
Yeah, that's I would totally do something with Privateer Press, but I have a child that I share
Also-
custody with, and
Yeah,
that
if they
not
would
work
let
out.
me do that job from home,
Yeah.
I'd be totally down because I
a
already
lot of
travel
the
to
jobs I
conventions
feel
anyway.
like could be remote, and I don't know why they require that you live in Seattle. Honestly, a lot of the jobs could be done remotely easily, but
Well, the thing is, the cost of living is so much higher in
Oh my
Seattle. Like, you
gosh.
can live on 35, 40 grand here. I mean, it's
You
not,
cannot
it's not
there.
great,
I've
but
looked-
you can't
yeah,
there.
I-
You'll
That's
live
what
in
I
a
was
cardboard box there.
saying, like,
That's so not worth it.
I have a friend who lives out there. She works full time. Her husband barely works part time. So you may as well just look at her income alone. She makes about 70 grand.
Yeah.
And they're not like scraping to get by, but they live at the comfort level that Brian and I do. And that's just, that
Yeah.
blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I just scary.
yeah.
Yeah, turns out when rent is 3 times as much as it is
Yeah.
out here, living expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Yeah, and by the time that their $15 an hour wage goes through, I mean, that'll be less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, then their cost of living is just like, I hate to be this person who's like, I want minimum wage to increase, but typically what follows is cost of living. Because
it absolutely does.
with-
Unfortunately,
without
inflation, you
question.
have to factor in inflation too, so it needs to increase.
Yeah, well, and
but
then you
that's
get
just
into a
how-
whole bunch of stuff. If they
No,
would have,
no.
if they would have
I know.
increased the minimum wage proportionally with the
Cost
cost
of
of living over the last 60,
Yeah.
70 years, then we wouldn't. Now we're stuck in a situation where if we bring if we bring minimum wage up to a point that's livable, we're going to have the shock of the cost of living suddenly increasing as
Yep.
well. And
Because
that's
unfortunately, corporate greed's not going away.
Right,
anytime
yeah.
soon.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should just
Yeah,
end
that
on this
gets into
note.
a whole lot of
Really
other stuff that
depressing.
we don't really
You'll
need
never
to-
make enough money to live. Have a great Sunday. Yeah.
Tune in at 6:30 for our politics podcast. Well,
Are you
Yeah.
going to turn us off?
I think Andy's kicking
Andy's
us
just
out.
going to let us keep sitting here.